Hey there, gang. So I saw this somewhere, and like most of the things we talk about, adaptation is key to our self development, really. Um, one of the keys, not the key, but one of the keys is adaptation. And things that are good for kit bags, like I've always talked about in our episodes. Hey, by the way, guys, good morning. Warren here. Welcome back. For those first joining us, thanks for stopping by and giving us a listening ear. But yeah, we should add things that benefit our self-growth to our kit bags. And so I saw this somewhere where the creator, for the most part, before he starts his um, discussions, he has tea.
Let's grab a cup of tea first.
And I drink both, and I suspect that some of you guys drink both. So I'm going to adapt it, and I'm going to call it coffee and tea and introspection. It's just going to be, I'm going to try it out, something short, not a long episode. All right. So let's do coffee and tea and a chat. I'm going to make my coffee, and I'll join you outside. All right. We'll see ya. Part of the fun is the process too. Just, like I said, I love the smell of, or I love partaking of both. But I love the smell of good coffee. Thought I had my water, hang on. I had my water. So normally, if I have time, I'll pour the cream ahead of time just so it can sit and get warm, because you store it in the refrigerator, right? And that cold shock. Some guys like that, as in some people like that, because it helps to just like take the edge off the heat a little bit. My philosophy is if it's intended to be hot, it should be hot. So I like to lay my cream out, sit and just get room temperature so that when I shock the coffee, it's not so much of a shock. And by holding this, I thought of something I'll share with you. Do you know why authentic teacups do not have handles? You know that? The philosophy is that if the cup is too hot to hold, then the tea is too hot to drink. And so traditional teacups, most, don't have handles because you should be able to hold a cup. Just thought I'd share that with you. All right, keep working on your brew. I'm going to keep working on mine. You're probably excited about the chat. We'll chat later. Make your brew. This is the fun part right here. The smell and the sound. So everybody should start their morning, don't you think? I'm going to advocate for that. Speak with all the major CEOs across America. Just kidding. But listen to that. All right. No fluff. Just a simple. Ooh, look at that. Dash of cream just to take that little edge off. And look, some people don't like the slurp, but it's all about the slurp on the first one. Yeah, that's good. All right, hustle. I'll meet you outside. So what did you guys go with? Tea or coffee? Doesn't matter. All that matters is that you have one or the other. So yeah, welcome outside where it's much more comfortable, huh? But I want to try this out and just see if we can start our day just a little bit more focused. And there's something else that Heinz does. That's who I adapted this concept from is Heinz. And I think it's pretty cool. So here we go. And he uses cards that he designs.
A great affirmation we can say is, I am in control of my thoughts and my actions.
But I'm going to go with our philosophers. And cards are kind of big, so I went with 5. So here we go. You guys get to choose. So try this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I see you out there pointing at the middle card, so we'll go with the middle card. That's a good one. That's a good one. Temperance. Stay centered in yourself regardless of external pressures, whether it's peer pressure, societal expectations, or stressful situations. Maintaining control over your inner world keeps you resilient. And that's from Ignatius. And he also says, never give in to the external. Always govern your mind and spirit. And powerful stuff. And I just want to talk a little bit about that. How much we beat ourselves up to fit into societal and peer pressure. And we never take the time to just give ourselves a break, you know? Like pat ourselves on the back for that small win. We always wait for the big victories to give ourselves any kind of credit. And I think, as a matter of fact, I know that if we give credit to our smaller victories, in aggregate, they become big victories. And I think it's the human condition, though, that we always or we often go big, right? and in some things that is fine. Sports, and I'm sure there's some other things that you could come up with where going big is the key. But just the small things like the process of making yourself a good cup of coffee or a good cup of tea, and then actually carving out some time like I am doing now. You don't see this behind the camera often when I post a video, but this is my ritual. I get up. First thing I do is usually just sit in silence, really. I just, if I'm up for whatever reason earlier than the norm, I'll just come out to the living room and sit by a window and just sit in silence for a little while until the pup starts to stir. And then once she's up, she gets her walk. And that too is ritualistic because I don't take my phone. I make it all about her, and I make it all about us just walking. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't. But just carving out a little bit of time for ourselves to reset, to recock and to think about those small victories, like that one run that you trained so hard for because you're recovering from an injury, or you thought you could never complete a run double digit miles per se, and you finally did. To others, that might be okay, so you ran a race, but to you, you trained, you set your mind to it. And this is all about goal setting and mind shift and mindsets, right? But we just dismiss them. We look at them as, okay, so I did that thing. And for some who are really good at that is, it's just dismissive as, check, I ran another race. But for those who put our all in it because it is more personal for us, give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. If you complete it, it's fine. If you didn't hit the time hack you wanted to, it's fine. There's a next time. Um, but we're so enamored by expectations that we just cheat ourselves. We cheat ourselves. But yeah, back to distractions. So after a walk, usually, then I come back, and if I'm feeling coffee, I have maybe 1 cup too many. And if I'm feeling tea, I can drink that all day, really. And I usually put in some reading while doing either of those. Nothing heavy. Look, unless it's an emergency, let me get this out of the way. I really want you to try this, if nothing else, okay? Unless it's an emergency, absolutely do not connect for at least the first 15 minutes of your morning. Do not connect. It trust me, you get so much back. You feel so much more clear headed because, on average, when you log in, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 8 times out of 10, it's probably news or bad news, something that has to be actioned right now. So, like I said, unless it's an emergency, don't even bother. And if you can go past the 15 minutes because you have the luxury to do that, even better. Because I'm telling you, and you hear it from so many people now that are online talking about, you know, disconnecting and going back to finding yourself and all that. And it's good, and it's honorable, and it's necessary, but it's really just simple, and they're all correct. They're all correct. We really need to just unplug and just have more moments like this. So I said I wanted to keep this short. It's just kind of tea, coffee, and introspection. And I'm going to do that. So let me know in the comments if you like this new take, and we'll continue doing it because I'll share it with you. I'm going to continue doing it in the background, but if you want it to be something we share together, let me know down in the comments, and we'll continue to do that. But until then, you be good out there. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon. Enjoy your beverage. We'll see you.